Wow, how much can happen overnight. Bitcoin right now in this weekly chart trying to approach $52,000. Right now, everybody, Bitcoin has broken $1 trillion market cap. A huge milestone. Not the first time this has happened, but a huge milestone. Just as 2 trillion will be a big milestone, 5 trillion will be a big milestone. This all happening right now, this weekly candle looking incredible so far. Still 4 days, 11 hours. We need to break it down. 2 other indicators I want to talk about. 2 kind of hints on these Bitcoin charts suggesting the all-time high could be sooner than later. One here, I want to go over. This is on balance volume indicator. And another here, just in terms of cycle data. Both of these things kind of coming together. And I also wanted to zoom in on the charts, talk about the price move of Bitcoin right now, what to potentially anticipate today and the shorter term. So hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. This is Bitcoin on the weekly. This is such a powerful move. This is such an important move. Y'all know we've been tracking the bull market doors. And very simply, everybody, it's a lower high Fibonacci. It's a resistance area. A bull market high to bear market low on the Fibonacci. It's the green rectangle that you see there. It's a resistance area. That's the area we want to see Bitcoin break. That's the bullish confirmation. Cycles past. Bitcoin has broken that after the Bitcoin halving. Right now, Bitcoin is breaking into those doors sooner than it's ever done on this weekly chart. Whether or not we close above will be very, very telling. But I will say this. We talked about this in yesterday's video, and I really want to start here. The weekly candle getting a continued move this week. 4 days, 11 hours. A lot can happen. This is crypto. A lot can happen. But 4 days, 11 hours left. Bitcoin finally getting separation from the 618 area. And that's what we want to see. We want to see separation. Bitcoin's approaching the middle of this Fibonacci resistance. The middle of the bull market doors. The 618 down here around 48 and the 786 up here around 57. Now, the reason why this move, the continued move that's happening even right now, is important. We talked about this in yesterday's video. It is, as you can see, Bitcoin on the price chart, obviously right now putting in a higher high. On the momentum oscillator, and this was the concern, on the momentum oscillator from the swing high back here, right, on the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, to where it is right now, you see a lower high. So the potential risk of bearish divergence playing out, the slowing of momentum as Bitcoin price has been rising. So we really want to see the continued powerful move of Bitcoin on the weekly to really, really kind of erase that bearish divergence that we potentially see there on that chart. Now, the good thing, if we look at the weekly chart, let me change weeklies. The good thing in terms of not just the RSI and the potential for that bearish divergence, we have 4 days left of the weekly candle. I want to point something out to you. If you go look at a stock RSI, quicker moving momentum oscillator, it's just bouncing out of oversold. There is a ton of room for upside on the stock RSI. There is a lot of room on this weekly chart for Bitcoin to continue to the upside. If we go back, and I don't have it charted perfectly, but right here, November 2020, that's Bitcoin breaking the bull market doors last time. That move that you see there is extremely similar to the move that's playing out right here, breaking into those bull market doors. And what I want to point out to you is where the RSI was at that moment, right? So RSI was all the way up here, the stock RSI. Quicker moving momentum oscillator, overbought, breaking those doors, and even still, look how much upside on the weekly. This is a weekly. So we have to be very careful with just saying, you know what, man, a weekly momentum oscillator is overbought. It's time to consolidate. Bitcoin, when it enters parabolic phase, RSIs move differently. So this one, not only is it not overbought, ton of room to the upside. Wanted to point that out. Now, before we dive into the charts and dig into the very short term and talk about even a short-term target to the upside, I do want to start here. This is a post that was just sent to me by a buddy. It says, it's interesting. Bitcoin's 2-month on balance volume is at new highs. Historically, it meant a new all-time high was no more than 2 months away, and a top was 6 to 10 months away. So check this out. What's so interesting about this is another piece of data kind of coming into play and confluent with something I've been tracking. And this is what I've been tracking. I posted this the other day, a couple days ago. Every time Since 2013, Bitcoin has closed a monthly candle above the bull market doors. Bitcoin has broken all-time highs within 1 to 3 months. So this piece of data that I'm talking about, if it triggers, I'm looking at 1 to 3 months all-time high. His piece of data, no more than 2 months. Almost identical time frames. Breaking the doors this cycle means Bitcoin closing above $57,000. This has always occurred after Bitcoin halving. And just to give you a sense, this is the move we're talking about for this monthly chart. Right here, that upper yellow trend line around 57,000, the monthly chart closing above that area prior to halving, potentially in play. But just very interesting to see now another piece of data lining up, suggesting very similar timeframes of all-time highs. We really might be seeing Bitcoin do this, something it's never done before. So what does that mean on this chart? 1 to 2 months. Well, this is a weekly. Let's go back to the monthly. Just check it out. I mean, right now we're mid-February, right? So then we have March, then we have April, the month of the halving. Could Bitcoin be testing all-time highs the month of the halving? Could we get a little bit of a retracement in April, the month of the halving, and still get that all-time high hit, right, in maybe May with a crazy monthly candle? I have no idea how this is going to play out, but what I do know is all of the data is very bullish for Bitcoin right now and very bullish for crypto markets right now. So let's pivot now and let's talk about the shorter term. On the shorter term, we can even use a weekly to kind of just talk about the story that's playing out, because there's a couple major targets in play that tie into everything we're discussing right now. We have the falling wedge, which is a falling wedge that has this swing high all the way back in November 2021, the bull market high. Falling wedge broke out of the upper trend line back in January 2023, over a year ago. Just to give you a sense of how long macro targets take to get hit, we are almost finally at this target, $55,000. And we're talking, everybody, we're talking like, look at this, 6 to 7% away from hitting that target. Bitcoin is right there. That's a move away. Now that plays into the shorter term, what we might anticipate if we're looking at the daily, maybe if Bitcoin continues this move to the upside, where there could be some resistance. Obviously, we have 786 bull market door resistance right above there around 57,000. But this range, 55,000 to, let's say, 57,000, huge resistance area for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's very close to this area. That's what I'll be watching. If there's any continued move to the upside, what Bitcoin does, how it interacts, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin just gets rejected on the daily. I would not be surprised. Maybe even comes back down to the 618 to test that 618 support. We can talk about that now since we have some separation around 48,000, just over $48,000. The other target to the upside could truly play into the all-time highs being broken is this $70,000 out of the rising wedge, which the upper trend line extends back to the summer of 2022. Rising wedge breakout. We just saw pretty recently in November. We had a nice revisit to the upper trend line, and right now we're continuing the move to the upside. The story unfolds. There could be a lot of volatility along the way. Again, it's a macro pattern as well. This could take a little bit of time, but you can see how this could play out. And maybe that target gets hit. Maybe that target gets hit all within the time frame that we looked at here, 1 to 3 months after breaking the bull market doors, 2 months after this on balance volume indicator triggered in terms of this post. The charts, they're looking crazy, everybody. They're just looking really good. I will say this, probably should have led with it. Oftentimes we find ourselves in crazy bullish environments and it's just like, man, we've made it. And from cycles past, that is easier to believe after a halving. The fact that this is happening before a halving, it could be truly something special, a powerful move for Bitcoin. But there's always, I would say, it's always a good idea to have caution. Because again, I'm waiting to see how this weekly candle closes. I'm cautiously optimistic, but tracking it nonetheless. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. I hope you're doing well, having a good start to your day. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Please turn notifications on as we track crypto markets, the bull market that is getting ready to begin, the parabolic bull market. Many think we're in the bull market. I'm talking about that parabolic bull market. And smash that like button for me. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.